started right now.
Awesome. Continue. No worries. Okay, so now we're jumping into our tax services. I actually did a rotational internship within tax. So I split time between audit and tax. So I have a bit of insight into what you do in tax, but also if you want to learn more about tax and be connected with more of our tax professionals, feel free to let me know and I'm happy to do that. So our tax services is broken up into multiple different levels. So we have those business tax services, which is understanding the intricacies of tax regulations and relationships to a business. Multi-state tax, again, looking kind of what it sounds like, looking at the state and local tax requirements and helping our companies and clients file those tax returns within those ways. International tax service, we have private wealth, which is helping those, the large, very wealthy individuals and making sure that they are doing their taxes in the correct way and supporting them and their needs going forward. We also have the tax management consulting, TMC, which is going to help provide an integrated approach to process improvement and help tax departments minimize that strategic value. So being kind of more on the side of the client and helping them with their taxes and go through that process. And then we have our GES service line, which again, help develop clients align their compensation and benefits programs to address their company's global and domestic needs. So those are some very high level terms and explanations of two of our service lines that, again, we do recruit for from San Jose State University. So moving forward to give you guys kind of an overview of our Bay Area practice. So we are now considered a Bay Area practice, which is made up of San Jose, San Francisco, and Sacramento. So as you can see, our San Francisco office is the larger office for both audit and tax. San Jose is going to be next, and then comes in Sacramento, which just has our audit and assurance practice. And the type of industries that we serve really depend on the areas of where our offices are located. Obviously, San Jose is going to focus on the technology, being in the Silicon Valley. So looking at those tech and media companies, as well as some life sciences, where San Francisco will expand a bit more to include those financial services, consumer business, so on and so forth. And since we cannot unfortunately go into the San Jose office today, I figured I would show some pictures of what our San Jose office looks like. It was recently remodeled and is now probably another one of my favorite places to go because it's so nice. So we have a different snack room. We have ping pong tables to make sure you're getting in those well-needed well-being and breaks. Different seating areas to really help a person facilitate where you work best, whether it's a coffee, kind of like a coffee house setting, or in a conference room, what have you. So we really tried to build these different areas and nooks throughout the office to help all the professionals, get their most productivity within the workday when you're at the office. Moving on, we have one of my favorite places as well, which is Deloitte University. So this is our leadership center that is located within Westlake, Texas, which is just outside of Dallas. And it's over 107 acres. And within that, it has state-of-the-art classrooms, amenities, and dining venues. It's basically a pretty fancy hotel with in the first 4 floors, and then the bottom floor is all of our learning classrooms. So you get to go to Deloitte University at least once a year. So it's a great place to network, really learn about what you have coming up in your next year. And Deloitte University is really a bold investment that demonstrates our commitment to our people by really enhancing, our culture and learning and that brand. And it helps people better prepare for what you're going to lead and leading from that front. So again, as an intern, you get the chance to visit Deloitte University for 3 days in a non-COVID world. And then you go every year when you're promoted within the firm. So moving on. We're going to talk a little bit about Deloitte's culture and our views around inclusion. So our approach on inclusion is twofold. We're working on attracting and retaining and advancing a diverse workforce. And also we are strengthening our inclusive culture where all our people can really connect, grow, and belong. And so we want to connect through our shared values and the impact we make together and feel like you belong at Deloitte in your practice or in your team or office, what have you, and have opportunities that support and you can grow with purpose. So extending on, we offer several opportunities for you to get to know Deloitte, learn new skills, and build your network while you're still in school and doing internships. We have a Deloitte Women's Leadership launch, and that's like a week-long interactive workshop. We have different immersion programs and conferences that you can take part of, and really connecting through community and external organizations where we are active in the community and collaborating with professional associations and other organizations that really share our commitment to a diverse workforce and inclusive culture. So belong at Deloitte, belonging is about feeling that you are valued for who you are, your experiences, perspectives, and those contributions, and being able to really work in a way that works best for you and pursuing your passions as well, and building a network and also making friends. My start class within audit, they are my colleagues, but also there's, a bunch of them that are some of my closest friends, and Deloitte has really offered that opportunity to build those relationships and flourish with them. So next we have grow. Again, at Deloitte, we really view growth as being more than just giving you those technical skills. It's also about providing guidance on the intangibles like the networking, the teamwork, and many other things that not just go into building a successful career, but also growing you into a leader. And so by offering a variety of deployment opportunities, targeted training, one-on-one mentorship along the way, we're creating a foundation that can serve you throughout your career. And although in-person programs are on hold, we do continue to offer a variety of virtual skills-based and inclusion-related development opportunities from self-paced learning to live virtual settings. And so what Deloitte's inclusion culture means for our people, it's really a community and a place where you can come and share your passions and purpose outside of just, it being your 9-to-5 job, what have you, and a place where you can uncover your strengths, and strengths we see as not something that you're necessarily always good at, but something that you're passionate about and you love to do. The place where you can take care of your well-being, whatever that means for you, and making sure that you're keeping track of your mind, your body, and your purpose. And it's a place where you can, stand out and bring your authentic self to work, whatever that might mean, and speak up openly and support each other as a team. So think differently and think together. Deloitte finds that bringing together people from these different backgrounds and perspectives can really inspire bolder thinking. And the result is going to be more vibrant, daring, and innovative solutions and providing that best work to our clients. All right. That was a lot, but find your fit at Deloitte. So in a broader sense, we do have some opportunities that are currently going to be coming live. So in the broad sense, what we're looking for at campus for candidates is people who are naturally curious. You're going to be tech savvy and excellent communication, strong team players, and really have a continuous learning mindset. So one cool tool that we have is Find Your Fit. So it's explore.deloitte.com, and you can take an assessment and kind of see what service line best fits your interests and your skills. And then next, talking again a bit about some opportunities that we have in the pipeline. So one thing that we do require at Deloitte is to be CPA eligible. And that means, taking 150 semester units or 225 quarter units, as well as taking the specific accounting classes. Go back. And so we're not just looking for, relevant work experience, but also any involvement in student organizations or clubs like FMA. And so we do have some audit internship opportunities still available if these requirements fit you. And also we have our Deloitte National Leadership Conference that is coming up, and applications have been opened for that. And those applications will close February 28th, and you can apply through San Jose State University's Handshake. So definitely recommend, taking part or applying for these opportunities that we have. And next is just some of our contact information. So my name, again, it says Taylor, and we also have another recruiting contact. She'll be coming back, and her name is Catherine Chavez. So feel free to reach out to either of us with any questions, and also some upcoming events that we have if you'd like to learn more. We have our Bay Area office hours on Wednesday, the 24th of February from 11:30 to 1 p.m. And also we have the San Jose State University Meet the Firms, which is on the same day, Wednesday, the 24th from 2 to 6 p.m. So you can sign up to talk with any of our Deloitte professionals from the San Jose office and get a chance to meet some of the other people from other firms as well. All right. That is all I have from a presentation standpoint, because I feel like you guys will probably have a lot of good questions. So I'm going to stop sharing and open for Q&A, and I can also kind of dive deeper into my experience as well, if that sounds good. Perfect. Okay. So I can give, again, another brief little insight into kind of my experiences within Deloitte. Oh, okay, I'm seeing some things in, do you have to be an accounting major to get a job? No, so you do have to take certain accounting courses, which, you typically take if you are an accounting major, but we do have an advisory services, which is a finance, they do accept finance majors as well. Let's see. Yeah, so business admin, kind of having a focus in accounting. All right. So a little more insight kind of into my path and my experience with Deloitte. So I started with the firm summer of 2016. Like I mentioned, I did a rotational internship between audit and tax. So I got insight into both of the service lines. And I felt that audit is you kind of go to the client site each day for work. So you're working at the job, your whole team is in the same conference room with you as you're working together. So it's a little more variety kind of there. And tax really offered you that more stability in terms of that you go to the Deloitte office every day and you have your own desk, which is kind of nice. And you're able to sit around with your Deloitte employees and more people that are from your class and such. So that's a lot of fun. From there, I decided to pick audit to go into my full-time internship opportunity. So there I was on different clients, given actual audit work, treated more like a first year, I think, than an intern. So they're really trying to treat you as a value add to the team, not just as, the intern that gets, the traditional coffee, what have you. While, sometimes there were a couple coffee runs, I was really doing a lot of work and bringing the knowledge that I learned from trainings in terms of learning about different innovations. We have a really cool AI technology that will read a bunch of contracts and you train it about what information you want to be pulled out. And then that AI will go through all of the contracts that you uploaded and you can pull out that information in an easy Excel doc. So a lot of the things as like an intern or when you're first starting, you learn much more in detail about these different technologies. So you may know more than your senior knows about them. So able to bring that experience and knowledge to the team was always something that I enjoyed. From there, I started with the firm full-time in 2018, gosh. And I, again, was in audit. And so my first 9 months within the firm, I was working on LinkedIn. So I would go there for work every day, working with the Microsoft team as well. So even though we're in San Jose, they're in Seattle, we still worked pretty closely together to get that audit done. And then I went and did a number of those EGCs that I was talking about, which is the emerging growth companies. So those are those smaller private companies that are wanting to be IPO, which is a really cool experience because a lot of them, this is their first year audit. They've never done an audit before. And so you're helping them through the process, helping them learn what support you need, why you need it, what have you. Yeah, and so then again, just kind of continued through my career on different clients. And then I got the opportunity to take part in recruiting and be a recruiter while our main recruiter is on maternity leave. And now I'm splitting my time between recruiting and audit. So that's kind of a bit about my experience and kind of how I got here today. I see another question. Do you accept marketing majors or do they have a disadvantage because they aren't accounting/finance? As long as you have taken those accounting classes that are required by the CBA, which is the Certified Board of Accountancy, if you've taken those courses, then you wouldn't be, seen at a disadvantage because you are going to be CPA eligible. Okay, does anyone have any other questions? Feel free to come off mute and ask them.
Yes, got a quick question.
Yeah.
I guess I was wondering how the company mission is. I know they're one of the big four, but are they kind of trying to be like the top big four, or what's their future plan is?
I think that's always the goal, is for us to be the top. We currently are the top in Big Four, and I think there's a pretty steady growth for us because the determination of who is at the top is revenue. So we are currently number one. And, even with COVID and everything that's going on, we haven't seen a decrease in client services. We're actually getting more clients than ever. And again, it's more of those pre-IPO companies. And that's always, such a fun opportunity to help these companies and these people go public and those SPACs. So our goal is to continue, to stay number one, to help make sure that we are valuing our people and putting them first as well in this environment, and making sure that, we're offering them that support.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, of course.
I had a quick question.
Yeah.
So I noticed that you said that in your opportunities, you mentioned the audit internship, and it was on one of your slides. So I was wondering, does that do you guys have any for advisory, or is it audit only?
I think we do still have some advisory openings right now. So I think you can view them with, I think they're posted actually on San Jose Handshake as well. And if not, they're definitely on the Deloitte career site. So with the more work comes more need for more people. And so we've been thankfully able to kind of offer some more openings there.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course. See another question. Why is Deloitte a better place to work compared to other Big Four firms? Very much kind of like everyone's own experience with that for sure. Because across the Big Four firms, we all do the same thing. We're all either auditing, doing that advisory work, that tax work. It's the same process there. For me, and why I chose Deloitte over other Big Four firms, is when I was meeting with professionals, I felt like I really wanted to be their teammate, and I could be their teammate, and wanted to be on teams with them, and felt like I could really learn from them and grow within my career. And I felt like Deloitte, since it's such a big company, there's so many different opportunities that you can take your career within the firm. Like now I'm obviously doing recruiting work. So having the opportunity, I knew from the beginning that Deloitte, they value their employees and those strong professionals, and their goal is to keep you within the firm, whether that be within that initial service line that you started out with, or any other passion that you have within your career. And I saw that for sure when I was interviewing more so with Deloitte than the other firms. And also, I mean, Deloitte University is a huge plus for me. I absolutely love it. It's a super fun place. And again, really shows their value on the employees and having that learning facility to go to. They actually, the plans to make and, you know, build DU were coming through in 2008 when there was the recession. So the leaders could have very easily said, like, no, this is not something we want to put our money towards and focus on. But thankfully they did, and they really said, no, like, this is what we want to do to show our people that, you know, we do value them and create that learning place for us to all come. So that is, you know, definitely a plus and kind of why I went with Deloitte too. Is there a role in Deloitte that would not require an individual to have a CPA license? We do have some internal service roles. I believe those are posted on the Deloitte careers page. I do not recruit for them, so I don't have too much insight there, but I know that there are some that are some marketing, some finance. I'm not sure what we have open right now, again, because we don't work too closely with those like recruiters. They kind of have their own needs. But if that's something they're interested in, I'm more than happy to kind of connect you there. Deloitte University sounds more like a resort than a university. Yeah, it's definitely long learning days. And you're in Texas, so they're 2 hours ahead. So when you're waking up for class, it's a lot earlier in California time. But there's, you know, so many great food places. It's all free. They have a Starbucks, so you just kind of go up to order your Starbucks and take it and go to your class, which is very weird and very fun. Any other questions?
I do have a question, and it's slightly more general.
Perfect.
But you've surely been in our position before as a student, trying to, of course, break into the industry. What is some advice that you would give us? And I know when you did it is a little bit different than when we're doing it right now. But what is just some advice that could be applied to either area, really, that you would give somebody like us?
Yeah, I think just reaching out and trying to make those connections, especially in a virtual world, really sets you apart, because you would think a lot of people are doing that, but they're honestly not. So either reaching out to people, you know, through LinkedIn, or trying to connect with the recruiter who can then, you know, facilitate who you're speaking to and help you kind of on that front is super beneficial, both for you and for the company, because they're able to see that you are interested and get insight and build that connection with you. So that's something that, you know, I definitely recommend doing, especially in this virtual setting. But also, you know, reach out to people, don't take it too far. Horror story candidate, well, not horror story, but he reached out to like 35, 40 plus people and met with all of them. And they were all like telling me like, oh yeah, he was good, but I think he's talked to someone before. I'm like, oh yeah, he has. You're like number 40. So, you know, make sure that you're learning what you need to learn from those professionals, but also don't take it too overboard. Any other questions?
I have a quick question about how you guys are training individuals during the pandemic.
Yeah, perfect. So we, you know, as you guys know, typically we go to Deloitte University. Obviously, that is not a thing right now. So all of our training is virtual. So we've tried to kind of replicate what you can from those classrooms at Deloitte University within this virtual setting. So we have courses that you are, you know, required to take, and you're going to be kind of in a classroom setting with a bunch of different you know, professionals that are your same level, or if it's an intern, you know, what have you, and from all over the country. So that's kind of fun that you're meeting people still from all over, and it's not just your office. And our facilitators are also, those managers or senior managers within the firm from different offices as well. So it gives you not only a chance to network, but to learn from other people who might have different experiences due to the industries that they're working in. Because obviously, we're in tech and highly focused in that world, but you might get a facilitator from Texas who focuses more on oil or gas, what have you. So it definitely gives you kind of more insight and understanding of the different areas that occur within, audit, tax, what have you. So yeah, we're using that virtual setting to learn, and still have breakout rooms and stuff. Definitely, not the preferred method. It's way better in person, but trying to bridge that gap as much as we can to make sure our professionals and interns are still learning as much and getting that kind of connection.
Do you feel that the technology that you guys have you guys created any new technology to go along with this?
Yes. So we we haven't created, I guess, technology for the specific learning stuff. I don't remember what one we're using, but we utilize we don't utilize Zoom or anything. It's another, let me see if I can even find it. I have so many emails. What is it called? I don't even remember, but we use like a different site. We created like a whole platform for our learning, so you can see all of your classes that you need to take part of. But outside of the learning aspect, we've created other technologies to help in a virtual setting, such as we have a new technology called Omnia, which is utilizing AI, but also to help create your audit profiles for client work. And it's all in the cloud, which is really cool. So you're not having to send work papers back and forth to each other, because that was what you had to do before.
Perfect. Thank you for answering my questions.
Yeah, of course. Thanks, Keith. Any other questions?
Do people move from function to function frequently, like say from audit to advisory?
Yeah, definitely the move from audit to advisory is most common, I would say. And we do have another service line, which is called ARA. It's audit, accounting, reporting, and advisory. So it's, kind of like the advisory piece, but focusing more on the technical accounting skills. So you're doing things like helping on IPOs, you are doing SOX, different things. So that's kind of another alternative to jumping to advisory. But people do, switch service lines. It definitely depends also on the need within the service line and how many, people that they can have. So that's definitely a piece of it too. But it does happen. Awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, thanks for your question. Does Deloitte offer internships outside of summer months? I already have a summer internship lined up. We do sometimes offer our winter internships. So that is recruiting happens as well as usually within the fall time. So that is something that we also offer as a winter intern, which is January through end of February usually. How do we know what are the specific courses we need to take for the accounting positions? It's different for every state, which is always fun. But let me get the link and I will post it in here. And it's kind of a little cheat sheet to know what classes that need to be taken to become CPA eligible. So I can find that. Is there any other questions while I'm looking for that email? Is there an entry exam to test knowledge? No, there's not, which is nice. So our basis is, all behavioral questions are first round interviews when you're, becoming a new hire. So that is, nice. It's nothing technical. We're not going to ask you about Revenue 606 or the leasing standards or anything like that. That's all things that you can learn on the job and that we help teach you. And you will have, some of that foundation from your accounting courses and what you've taken. But yeah, so there's not like an entry exam for your accounting knowledge, which is always a plus, I feel like. Especially as an intern, I feel like I had no idea what was going on. And I'm like, if they ask me a technical question right now, I'm gonna like have no idea what to say. Here we go. Okay. I just posted in the chat the link that takes you to the California Board of Accountancy, and that will have the tip sheet for CPA, and I can post another one that's just the direct link to the tip sheet, and those are all of the educational requirements. So if it's something that you're interested in, highly recommend sitting down with an academic advisor and going through those courses and kind of what you need to take for one of those audit or tax roles. Any other questions? You guys have had good questions. Thank you for being involved too and participating. It's always helpful.
Yeah, everything sounds really good. Actually, I'm pretty excited to probably be one of the company that I want to try to go into. It's just next question, because I heard you're one of like the main recruiter for actively involved for San Jose State. Yep. I guess is it for this year or for next year as well? Because I'm just a junior right now.
Yeah. Hopefully it will be continuing into next year. But we'll keep in contact, with the association and make sure that you guys have the right contact to be able to, reach out to us with any questions. We also have a Explore Deloitte series that's ongoing. I believe we have another one tomorrow and maybe one next week, which are different sessions for you guys to learn more about Deloitte and what we offer. And it's a national one. So you're, again, speaking with employees and recruiters, professionals from all over the country. So I can send over that information as well as the registration for our office hours, which is, again, the 24th. And so you guys can participate in that and sign up.
Sounds great. Thank you.
Awesome. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, with those events, I did hear word from membership. We'll most likely be including them in the newsletter. So just keep an eye out, please.
Oh, perfect.
I have one more question for you.
Yeah, of course.
Do you guys have any plans this year on opening up your guys' university in Texas?
We have, we're staying in close contact with the World Health Organization, and we have opened, because it is in Texas, so again, numbers are a little bit better than they are here in California. So we've able to start opening up for smaller sessions of professionals. So no big openings, because usually with our audit, like internship class, there can be, thousands of people. So not doing that extensively, but again, trying to open it up as soon as we can, because it is one of the highlights of really working for Deloitte, in my opinion.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
I think you already kind of touched on this, but do the same accounting requirements apply to the advisory internship?
It depends. So advisory is kind of like tax, how tax has all those different service lines underneath it. Advisory is the same. So it will depend what specific market that you're kind of going into with advisory. So not all of them require the CPA educational requirements. Some, are different and can, you can be more of a finance person and get into it. So I'm happy to, you know, connect you with our advisory recruiter, and if you're interested, and kind of help you through that process.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I noticed that you mentioned consulting as one of the services that Deloitte provides. I was wondering how people get into that one, like that service line.
Yeah, consulting is a little bit different because they kind of do, it's like the 3 service lines of advisory, audit, and tax, and then consulting is separate. And so they kind of do all of their recruiting separately from us. So again, unfortunately, don't have too much insight there, but I know that, you know, they are actively, you know, looking, and they do, I think, still post on San Jose State for opportunities. So I would keep an eye there, and also on the Deloitte career site, if consulting is more so what you're interested in, and I can look into kind of who that correct contact would be as well.
That sounds good. Thank you so much.
Yeah. As you mentioned, yeah, you can send me an email. So if you're interested in kind of one of those roles that are not tax/accounting or audit, feel free to kind of send me your resume and your transcript, and I can forward to those recruiters to see again if there's a need within those service lines, but within those internal areas, to see if they have availability and if your experience kind of aligns with what they're looking for.
Hey Taylor, I know this is a bit like cliche, but as your time as a recruiter recently, was there anything that distinguished like an application, whether it be like a resume or cover letter from the others?
Yeah.
Because I know it varies from recruiter to recruiter, so what's your opinion on it?
Definitely. For me, it's like so dumb, but only having 1 page for some reason to me is really important, because it's just so much easier to kind of look at things when it's just on 1 page and you're not scrolling and going through and trying to find what aligns best with the job. So really keeping to that 1 page. If there's a second page, I normally don't look at it. And also, you know, making sure that you are updating your resume and your cover letter for the correct position that you're looking for and the correct company. So making sure that you're using the correct firm's name in your application. So it's all kind of even just very standard things, you know, making sure the spelling is right, making sure you're talking about the correct firm. Even things as little as that help you stand out, because unfortunately not everyone does that. Also making sure that, you know, you're being kind of concise with your statements and not having, you know, essays or paragraphs of the experience that you had. Like, we do want more of a high level, you know, detailed but targeted statements based on your experience. And also know that, you know, we're not looking for necessarily just job experience. You know, if you don't have experience as an internship or a job in certain areas, like, that's totally fine. There's a lot of skills that are transferable from other jobs you might have had to the positions that we're looking for. So making sure you guys are really looking at the positions and what the requirements or what, you know, verbs that they're using within applications or within the job posting, and try and highlight those skills. I think that's always important when, you know, you don't have, you know, an audit experience job, but you have, you know, working in teams. Like, that's so important in an audit. So being able to showcase those same skills that you've learned, even in a different role, that definitely helps, you know, you stand out when you're able to show that you understand what type of candidate that we're looking for and able to showcase that experience.
Definitely. Thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions? I can also post my email in case you guys didn't get it within the slide.
Do you happen to have a LinkedIn you could post in the chat?
LinkedIn, I do. I'm really bad at looking at it though. So if you guys want to talk hit me up on my email, but I will find my LinkedIn 1 second.
Thank you.
Of course. I know I should really get better at using my LinkedIn. I honestly did not create a LinkedIn until I was a senior in college, which is probably bad. And I only did it for a class. So that's fun. As a recruiter, how do you rate experience, internships, and grades? We definitely, value those grades and making sure that you're above a 3.0 is usually preferred, with especially in any accounting courses that you've taken. But we really, don't weight an internship over, a leadership role, whether it be in a class project or with a club or anything like that. We're looking for kind of that overall, strong signs of leadership and, like kind of teamwork and what have you. So there's not one specific thing that we're looking for or we rate higher, because we know not everyone has those same opportunities to get those internships or those experiences. So we don't want to, weight someone who was fortunate enough to get those experiences too high over someone else. It's mainly those skills that you're able to showcase for sure. Awesome. Now we have about 7. Anyone else have any other questions?
Do you see yourself with this company for another 5 years minimum?
Yeah, I think they do. I feel like, to be honest, sometimes it changes day to day when, you have those bad days and you're like, oh gosh. But no, I think, this company definitely allows you to grow within your career and take you to where you see aligns best. You do have to really advocate for what you want and what you're interested in. But when after my first full year with the firm, I hadn't been on a, specific public job because LinkedIn is technically private under Microsoft. So I hadn't had that PCAOB experience. And one of the senior managers on one of those EGC clients, first day I ever met him, he's like, oh, Taylor, let's go chat in a conference room. And I was like, okay. I was like, what did I do wrong? I've only just met this man, like, oh heavens. And he sat me down and said, what do you want for your career? Like, what experience do you want that you don't have already? And so I said, I'd like to be on a public client and get that PCAOB experience. And, the next couple of days, he helped get me on one of his other public jobs for that busy season period, and helped me get that experience. So, there's people like that throughout the firm that are really value, what's important to you and what you want to do. And so I think because of that, I can see myself staying at the firm for, 5 years plus, because they are dedicated and making sure that you're getting the experience and getting that path to be on the correct trajectory for your interests.
It sounds like that they really come to the employees and they if you want to be invested in, they do invest in you. So that does sound like a good company to work for. Thank you for answering the question.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, definitely. You have to be the one to, speak up and say what you're interested in. But as long as you do so, they will work to help you and make sure that you get that same experience that you're looking for. You guys have good questions. I think this is some of the best questions that I've ever had at a presentation. So kudos to you all.
Well, thank you for the good answers.
I try. Oh. I'm always like, oh gosh, like new to this recruiter role, am I like answering them how I should? But if you guys are finding them helpful, then hopefully that's enough.
You're doing great.
Good. Thank you all. Cool.
I think also you brought up some great points about how indispensable it is to have a mentor in the company, just like the example you gave. So yeah, I think those are big points. Definitely.
For sure. And that's something that we offer, within all of our service lines. When you start out, you get, and it's called an onboarding advisor, but we call it a buddy. And it's someone who's one class above you. So they basically just had the experience that you're about to embark on. And so they're kind of there for your everyday, quote unquote, those dumb questions that you're too nervous to ask your senior. You can go to that person and ask them, and they're kind of that resource for you. And then you're also assigned a coach who is usually a manager level. And they're the ones to really help guide your career. So you can have, your official coach my official coach helped me get into this recruiting spot because I was interested in it and have helped with recruiting throughout my career. So I have that official coach, and she's helped me with my career. And then those unofficial coaches, like that senior manager who can helped me get onto that public engagement. So there's definitely mentorship throughout the firm, and some are, those more assigned paths, and some are more just, up to you and who you connect with and those experiences that you can make with your teams. Awesome. Any other questions? If you can't tell, I'm kind of an open book. So we'll answer anything honestly, even if it's always, not the most enjoyable.
Since you brought that up.
Yeah.
How competitive is it? I guess, do you see it's kind of like where, position is kind of really rare to apply, or it's like very limited? In your eyes, do you see it's fairly average, I guess, or too competitive, or everyone's kind of like dog eat dog world?
Yeah, I think through the application process, it is a little bit more competitive because it is a Big Four firm. But one of the advantages I think that we have of being a Big Four firm and in the Bay Area with all these client needs, we need people. So that definitely helps when we have a little bit larger number of people that we can accept. So that definitely kind of helps. But once you start with the firm, there's no real competition between you and your coworkers, trying to get better work. There's none of that. I feel like we all go to each other for questions have you done this? I don't know what I'm doing. Can you send over an example, what have you? So everyone's, so helpful once you start and kind of get into it. How is the work-life balance during busy season? I was waiting for this question. It is rough. I will be the first to say. But again, it's truly your teams that kind of help make the experience and get you through those longer hours. Busy season is the same at all firms as well. You're required to work those longer hours to get those deadlines. But once you get through it, you look back at, you're like, yeah, that wasn't actually that bad. But when you're in it, you feel like, oh man, can't do this. But again, your team really helps you get through. And shamelessly during my kind of final season, exactly. Your teams, again, if you advocate for yourself and things that are important to your team, usually will help accommodate. My first year, something that was really important to me was Monday night bachelor nights. I know, kind of embarrassing, but it was the one time that we had a bunch of friends come over to the house. And so I got to see other people than my coworkers. And so that was something that was important to me. And so Mondays, I would go to work a bit earlier, and then I would get off earlier to make sure I was able to be home and kind of get that joy from something else. So as long as you're able to, again, state what's important to you, your teams are usually able to help accommodate there, even during busy season, because I was doing that during busy season.
Do you feel like your senior management team ever made you feel uncomfortable about a question you've asked?
I'm trying to think. I don't think so. I think they've all been, fairly supportive with everything and really want, you to learn and treat kind of every experience or conversation as a learning experience, whether it be a learning experience you want or ones that, you know, are kind of harder to deal with. But there's never been a time where, you know, I've been addressed or having to deal with, you know, that confrontation, I guess, with senior management.
What's an issue that you find, what's a common issue, I guess, that you find on a normal basis?
I think managing clients. That is a big issue in terms of the clients not wanting to get you the support in a timely manner. And so knowing how to deal with someone that they are your client, but your performance also is set on them getting you that work. You know, not always as an auditor or a tax person are you viewed as the most important person, or they want to see you walking down the hall and coming into their office. So I think knowing how to manage that and dealing with those, I feel like the conversations that are a little bit more harder are the ones with the clients. And so those are kind of, I feel like, the most common issues in dealing with those.
Getting on the same page with them and getting them to work as a team then.
Yep, because sometimes, you know, they'll have to post adjustments because we found something and they don't want to post an adjustment. So knowing how to frame those conversations to make sure that we're all on the same team about, you know, what needs to be done to be in line with the PCAOB, which is, you know, obviously above us. So working together to, you know, be on the same team as the client in situations where it's not their first choice to do something.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Earlier, you were talking a lot about working in teams. Would you say the work environment is more like team-oriented or individual-oriented?
It depends what service line. So in my personal opinion, audit, it's hard because you're team basis, because you're typically in a conference room with your whole team, but you're working individually on your assigned work paper. And then, you know, your senior will review it and you'll work with them then, and then your manager and you'll work with them. So you do have your individual moments. So when you're like everyone's working on their own thing, but you're in a room with other people. So you kind of feel like, oh, we're all on the same team, on the same client, working towards the same goal. With tax, you know, you do have teams, but because you're at your own desk, it's a little bit more separated and you feel a little bit more independent kind of individual work. And advisory is the same as audit as well, in that, you know, you work typically at a team, at a client site with your team all in the same conference room. Tax, again, at your own desk, your like manager or senior might not be sitting right next to you, but they're in the same area. So it's a little bit different, that you're a little more spread out. And, you know, the person you're sitting next to might not be working on the same job. They could be working on a same task, which is different than an audit because, you know, there's only one work paper for OPEX. The person next to you isn't going to be doing the same thing because why would you test, you know, that twice? But in tax, you could be sitting next to someone doing the same exact work paper for another client, but it's not the same one that you're working on. So in my opinion, because of that, it's a little bit more individualistic because, again, you're at your own desk, not necessarily sitting next to your teammates, but you do have a team.
Thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions?
If there's no questions, can we all take a group picture with you,
yeah.
Taylor?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Just tell me when to be ready.
Say cheese.
If you guys are comfortable with turning on your camera, that'll be great. And then
oh look, there's so many more faces. What's up?
Yay. Okay, Ishan, tell us when you're going to take it. Like do a little count.
Okay, yeah. I'm gonna go ahead and take it for I think the first screen, and then I think some on the second screen too. So we're gonna do it twice, okay? I'll smile.
Keep smiling, everyone.
Okay.
65 great smiles.
3, 2, 1. And then smile one more time.
Oh gosh.
3, 2, 1. Awesome. Awesome, guys. Thank you.
Cool.
I saw that Keith was driving. It looked funny, probably from another on the road, seeing a man
You know,
smile.
you guys,
So dedicated, Keith.
I really am. I'm going to Chico right now, and I really didn't want to miss this because it is important. So
Thank you for being here. Thank you, man.
I love that.
of course, I love that I'm able to.
And still asking questions from the car. Amazing.
I do want to say thank you for being here. Appreciate it so
Oh
much.
my gosh, of course. Happy to be here.
Yeah, that was definitely like one of the best presentations I've also seen in the virtual environment. Like,
No way.
the visuals, they're on point. I gotta say that.
Oh my God, you just made my week.
Yeah,
And
the
you did it
transition was crazy.
alone.
I did do it.
Also, your personal experience, how you share them is really good too. We really appreciate it.
Thank you so much, you guys. Wow, this is a highlight of my week.
Your attitude was great as well, and you brought the thunder. So keep it up.
Thanks, guys. I really appreciate it.
Being a recruiter, full-time recruiter.
I know. I'm trying. Love the audit work and the analytical side of things, but do love, working with people and especially helping, people like you students kind of get started in their career, or if it's a change in career, what have you, just kind of getting you going and helping you guide. Because I know when I was in your shoes, I was like, what is going on? So always happy to be a resource and help you guys. If you need to go through resumes or what have you, please feel free to reach out. I'm happy to set up time.
Thank you so much, Taylor.
Yeah.
I'll definitely take you up on that offer.
Please do. I can also, we can, if you guys have time later down the line, do another, whatever this is called, meeting. And I can do a resume review one because we do have a presentation for that as well that kind of talks about highlights too, if that's something you guys would all be interested in.
I think we would.
One that offer as well, don't worry.
Okay, cool. Sounds good. If you aren't sick of me yet.
Not at all. Not at all.
Perfect.
If there aren't any other major questions, I'm just going to stop the recording and you guys can just continue just the same way.
Perfect.